is Watson and Little Albert? John B. Watson was an American psychologist who established the psychological school of behaviorism. He carried out the most influential psychological study in 1920s that later on is something that would never be forgotten. Classical conditioning experimented by Ivan Pavlov was used on a dog with an unconditional stimulus was used to produce an unconditional response, and on the other hand, the conditioned stimulus produced conditioned response. Later on, Watson was interested in taking Pavlov's research further to show that emotional reactions could be classically conditioned in people, and he demonstrated it in the Little Albert experiment. The participant in experiment was a child that Watson and Rayner called Albert B, but is known popularly today as Little Albert. Ivan Pavlov had been able to condition the dog. Could Watson do the same thing on humans? And now, to the actual experiment itself. First, Watson presented to Little Albert some objects that he was not afraid of. Objects that Little Albert usually liked, such as dogs, white rat, rabbit, fire, and monkey. From all these clips, notice Little Albert's positive reactions. Then he planned the conditioning process. To start off the conditioning between Albert and the rat, a loud hammer struck whenever Albert reached for the rat. Here, Little Albert is conditioned to feel the white rat, but when he reached again for the second time and heard it, he started to cry. The white rat is still the unconditioned stimulus, but this time, it is to be paired with something unpleasant. Little Albert was tension in the rabbit and he immediately cried and to get far away as possible from him. In this clip, notice that Watson tried to demonstrate that child is now also react fearfully in similar objects such as dog, a seal fur coat, and mask that Watson wear. Little Albert turned away from it because he was agitated and showed a more negative response. From the previous experience from the white rat, he suddenly became afraid of familiar objects that the same characteristic as the white rat. This phenomenon was known as generalization. Watson now then wanted to try again the reaction of Little Albert at different setting. The previous test was done in a small dark room, but now he was brought into a larger room. He was presented with a same object, but he didn't show strong symptoms of resistance until objects were paired with loud noise. Watson now wanted if fear will remain in Albert over a period of time, so Little Albert was brought home and returned after 1 month. When he returned and tested with the same object, he showed the same sign of withdrawal. Watson was correct that phobia can be learned as for the case of Little Albert, and he also insisted that phobia could be unlearned.